Hello everyone, I'm Ben Jammer from Jam Studios, and welcome back to their 8-Bit Powers in 2D. This one's a very exciting one because we're actually watching right here is the released version of it. I did some more work in the back end, and I have gotten a released version, quote unquote, that should have no bugs, but we'll see how that goes. There's plenty of bugs all around. I'm sure of it. I just can't find it. But hey, they'll eventually pop up. But anyways, as you can see that this is a released version of the game because usually there's debug right up here next to the game title, meaning that there are two different versions of the game that Godot recognizes, a debug version and a released version. And the cool thing about it is in code, I've never really done it because you can have specific things happen in the debug version than in the released version. I don't have any of that. I never mess with it, but it is possible. But with that being said, we do have the version down here. I've just added that in, version 0.1.0 as the first one released, and then anything else would just kind of bump that zero up. But hey, let's begin playing. This is the screen title. There's a patch notes button down here, but I'm not going through that. That's just if you want to know of the things that I've added, it's right there. But let's say if we don't know. All right, then let's just hit play. We have our character sheet, everything we have. I've already showcased some of these. Then we have our controls right here and a little bit more uh, to help you out during the game so that you can understand how to play. And then if we just go right here, 3v3, it's our first one. We can just pick our characters for the blue, for the red, and boom. It's looking a little different from the last time. We got water tiles actually uh, fully colored now. I like how I wanted it. We even have the walls different. They're not just black anymore. And we have these weird little gates here. Those are also important with the gardens. And as you can see that there's stuff growing on these gardens. Uh, and on the right as well, we have sponsors. These are called sponsors, and throughout the game, if you do well, or play badly, depending on how their personalities are. If you're doing good on their side, then they'll give you good items from them. But if you're on their bad side, they're going to give you bad items from them. And those can actually, I've been playing a few myself, and they can change the game. You may think like, oh, I'm balling out here. We're doing great. Well, if I got that item, came in clutch, boom, you're done for now, buddy. So they can really help out throughout the match. They'll throw it in, and you have no idea what it is. It is literally just a gift box on every single one, besides this little dude. He doesn't really have time. This little dude right here is a monkey, and he doesn't have time to wrap up his stuff, but he's kind of my character, my jokeable character. Like, I kind of like that he's in here. Yeah, he does have some pretty good stuff too. It's not just a joke, but yeah, and so you can also see that I haven't talked about these little guys right here on these tiles in the game board. These are called button tiles. They will literally move. Actually, I can show you here, but they can move if we interact. They'll go to the right. And even these sponsors over here can interact with these as well. They're not going to be on them, but they can pay for these buttons to be pressed by somebody and they'll be able to turn and whatnot. They'll throw items. We even have barrels out here. I mean, I'm not going to go over every single item, but essentially these guys can change the game. So you should uh, be able to attack these guys, survive, and get on their good sides, hopefully. But with that's the sponsors. I've even done a little bit of if we can just keep playing like this. Ah, sweet. This is a rook. I kind of imagined we have this is a chessboard right here, and so this rook will just move exactly as you think it would. You can see that there's three of these things, so they can spawn at one of these and end at one of these. But essentially, this rook, actually, I'll just show you instead of telling. There we go. Yep, he just shot up, can't move forward, can't move left, so we're going right. And we'll zoom across. Now, the interesting thing is if it's over here, he's doing the exact same path. Nothing cool, nothing new about that. But this is the one where it gets a little more fun. Up top, if he shoots down, oh, we can't go any further, but we can both go left or right. Now that's where it gets interesting, as it will just randomly choose between going left or going right. And it will just go to those two right there. And it doesn't matter, you won't know at all which way it's going to go, but you can kind of infer, like, okay, these are the possible paths at least. And the other cool thing is, with these tiles, or sorry, with these gates, with the rooks, they can be interacted with. You see that there's this small little thing off to the corner. This is a lever. So if you're on, not on this tile, but on the tile next to it, next to where the lever is, so you're not in its path, you can essentially pull the lever and release that rook early. It's always timed up every single time to be kind of waiting a whole turn, a whole round before it goes. Or you can kind of just, pull the lever and call it in, and it will go and hit anybody in its path. So that's the cool thing about the rooks. The sponsors don't really have any other cool uh, things in mind besides items and barrels and whatnot. And then I can also show you off the puff shroom, which leads into the special attacks that I have somewhat changed since the last one. How essentially the character obtains it, how they maintain it and hold on to it if they haven't used it, essentially making them a little more personality wise for their special attacks, because the three main attacks that these three characters have feel pretty strong, prefer their kit essentially. But let's go to the archerer, since he's the only one that can interact with these as of right now. I do have plans later for how other characters can interact with it, but since this is how he gets his special, I just had the archer only do it. So we go over here and we go to this tile right next to the garden. We interact with it, and we can see we now have a little item in our inventory. And this item is poison puff shrooms. So you throw it, and it puffs a cloud of poison out for a turn, for a round. So we'll go ahead and we'll skip through it all, but just want to show you that this here is a gift, and you can see that's highlighted, meaning we're not able to pick it up, but this is the one that's showing us, like, hey, this is the one if you're able to pick it up. Because I can turn up and I'm looking away from it, I will not pick up that gift. But if I'm looking at it, I would be able to pick up this gift instead of interacting with that button tile. But if I am, oh, hold on. Now, if I am going onto that gift box, I'm on top of it, I can interact with it, and I can pick it up. So I have no idea what this syringe is. There's multiple items that are syringes. So if I even click this, it's just going to say syringe. I'm taking a gamble on if it's a good syringe or a bad syringe. So if I take it, let's find out. Are we good or bad? Oh, we're bad. Okay, okay. Well, that's a cool one to start. This right here, sleeping, is an interesting mechanic in the game, only for one, and that's going to be the swordsman. Because if he's getting tired or a little lazy and all that, then his special comes out. So be careful with who you put to sleep, because it may be the wrong decision. But yeah, we got the bad one. He's losing a turn. He's asleep. He's got the Z's up. And we'll see if once I hit enter, it's going to be his turn. But yep, it goes away. And we're back in action. And there goes the rook again. Oh, let me bring that back to the poison cloud. So as you can see, we have our tiles showing where we can put it in our range. We can't put it on uh, these water tiles, but we can move it around. And as we move it around, you can kind of see how uh, the tiles of the poison cloud kind of move and form throughout our stage here. So if we could throw it right here, bam. Our archer does take damage and is in the poison cloud. And he took poison damage. He did not take the damage from the trap. But if we come back out and go back in, he will get damaged again. That's essentially how traps work. And I try to keep it a little fair to where it's at least you're damaged one time per turn. So if I hit enter, yeah, I don't think he hit. He got dealt damage. But if we go back around again, I don't think it's gonna happen because yeah, okay. Yeah, so he did not take the damage, but in the lava tile, or sorry, the lava pool of the fire wizard, this little guy right here, essentially since it lasts a little longer, you would see that uh, as soon as you start your turn, that's when it would deal the damage. But since the poison cloud left before the blue archer's turn started, then it blew away. We didn't need it. And we also have this little meditate button down here because the fire wizard is different. That was the archers. I've already discussed a little bit of the swordsman. It's basically the same how it's been. I haven't really changed it. More of just how you obtain it and how you keep it. But for the fire wizard, all you gotta do is just meditate for a few turns. So boom, we got a little animation for that as well. He's just sitting down having a good time. We go through the rounds, yada yada yada, and now we're meditating for one turn. And after meditating for a turn, we still have to meditate again just so we can be able to get our special attack. And right here, if say everyone's coming on you, you have the choice between stop meditating and you get all of your attacks back and all your stuff like nothing happened. Like it was just the start of your turn essentially. Or you can just hit enter. So let's kind of push. Yeah, let's put it right there. Those red tiles are going to be the ones that uh, are going to be dealt damage. It's not a whole lot of damage, but still a good amount since it is 5 tiles max. Can kind of. I don't think there's a good. Yeah, there's not a good setup to show you that all 5 tiles could be available to you. Only these 4 tiles, or only these 3, yada yada yada. You get the point. But this can damage yourself, so do be careful. This can damage teammates, so you got to be careful. The Fire Wizard is essentially the only one right now, if you're not confused, to where his attacks can deal damage to your team, so do be careful when you play this guy. But we hit it, and we have our little fire shield up. If you remember, that is also in the special attack, the Ember Blast. Once he uses it, he has his own fire shield, and he will maintain a fiery aura for 2 turns. But essentially with this, now if you get melee attacked while you're meditating, it acts the exact same way. You only get it for 1 turn though, or for however long you actually meditate for. But that's the Fire Wizard's new special kind of thing. New special kind of thing, excuse me there. But this is the Fire Wizard, and now you can see that it's not meditating or stop meditating. It is Ember Blast. And I can kind of show you, it just shoots in a distance of 2 in every direction that he can see. And yeah, let's boom, blast, and you can see that we have that fire shield back up. And right down here, we're not going to be dealt any health, but there are still ways to deal health without dealing damage to the shield, which is plus 25. Our shield right now is 25. So if we get hit, which if we use the swordsman to hit him, he's going to deal damage back to the swordsman. So if we see that, yep, it went down only because this fire shield is out, meaning melee damage is going to be dealt back. So he gets hurt, and so did our fire wizard. But our fire wizard, the sword from the hold on, the attack from the swordsman will deal damage to the shield, but we can see that our swordsman here is bleeding. Bleeding and fire and poison and shock and all those ones that deal damage will not deal damage to the shield, but will deal damage to the actual health of the character itself. And that's basically the whole point of these things is kind of give you some options, leeway, choices, try and make every game different, essentially. But that's everything that I've added so far. There's a lot more things that I haven't showed you, of course, with items and whatnot. But essentially, this is the big ticket ideas for what I've done. So thank you for sticking around for this long in the episode. If you've liked this content, this is a released version of the game. But please think about subscribing, liking this video, and leaving a comment down below if you want to see anything else in Godot. Uh, Please, questions, comments, concerns, anything, and I'll let you know. With that, you guys have a great rest of your day. Enjoy it. It's a beautiful one here in the studio, so have a good one.